Hi, gang. It's Hexy. So this is our second scenario in the first day of, yeah, you're never going to see that, the first day of Gettysburg. Yeah, blind swords. All right, Gettysburg, the first day, July 1, 1863. Um, from Herman's beloved system, blind swords again. Uh, so the game has three scenarios, and I think it has one master game of the full first day fight here, where you incorporate Buford, the First Corps, the 11th Corps, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And you play everything from this area here all the way across to Oak Hill and down McPherson's Ridge and Seminary Ridge, okay? But this is 16-3. This is Barlow's Knoll, Bloker's Knoll, whatever you want to call it. But this is the 11th Corps when they get smacked in the face by Gordon's brigade, Early's division, and pieces of Rhodes' division, all right, particularly Dole's brigade. Okay, so when I saw this initial setup, I thought, okay, here's Gordon. He's got great cohesion. Dole's isn't actually too shabby with all his Georgians. So you got the first striking units are going to be all Georgians. Gordon's Georgians and Dole's Georgians. What a match made in heaven, right? And they're just going to crush the daylights out of what's sitting there. Then I noticed on the turn record track that Hayes's Louisiana Tigers are coming on, and Avery's North Carolinians are going to come on, Hoke's brigade, all right? And I said, man, that's a lot of units. And then I see that Coster's brigade is finally going to get released. Howard's finally going to send them from Cemetery Hill, where I guess they were setting up defenses there, send them through Gettysburg and out there to help in the fight to fend off Early's division and what the little piece of roads. So it is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 turn scenario, okay? And interestingly enough, the first couple of turns, Gordon got bogged down coming across, was this Willoughby? No, not Willoughby. Rock Creek. He got sort of delayed there, okay? He did eventually get across, as you can see, Bloker's Knoll. All right, I'm just going to call it Barlow's Knoll. That was taken, and they've held on to that for like the last 3 turns. And then I started looking around at victory conditions, and I'm like, ooh, boy, the Rebs need to work hard. So the last couple turns, we started to chase off the Union units, and as you can see over here on the track, there's quite a few broken, sorry for the light bulb, quite a few broken Union units there, and there's 3 Confederate units that are broken. Nobody eliminated. I got to check that about how elimination happens in this game. But they pushed and pushed. But you know what? Old Barlow and von Steinwehr and Schurz, the 3 division commanders for the 11th Corps, I'm going to say they did a pretty good job in this one right here, because they kept these guys at 4:30 p.m. is when this ends. They're not in Gettysburg yet. They haven't taken the Brickyard. They haven't taken, I guess that's a church or a school or something like that. And they darn sure haven't gotten down into the automatic victory locations at the square in Gettysburg, which is actually a circle nowadays, but you know how that goes. So, but this was fun to play, man. I finally decided on the last turn, oh man, I should have been using this cavalry a lot earlier to move around to these victory locations. Dole's, he got Schimmelfennig just punished him right off the bat. Dole's, I mean, he's almost got everything pretty much is flipped, all right, and he's got unit over on the broken track. So you can guess what his status is. You can also look at Gordon and see that everything he's got on the map is depleted. Everything else is over on the broken track, so you can guess where they stand, okay? Schimmelfennig, everything he's got on the map is depleted, and the remainder are over on the broken track. Ames, 1 regiment left on the map, everything else, and he's depleted, and everything else is over on the broken track. So you've got 4 wrecked brigades right there, which do count for victory points. Fortunately, it's 1 for each brigade. Both sides each had 2, so both sides got 2 points. All right, now victory points. Here's how this worked. You had victory point hexes. You had 2 2-point hexes and 4 1-point hexes. All right. One of the 1-point hexes is the Union headquarters right there, which Gordon and them took on the last turn. Oh, and by the way, on the last turn, I had 4 limited activation rolls. That was unbelievable. Okay, so they got this one. They got Bloker's Knoll, and they've got the rail, trail, whatever lane thing over here. So they got 3 victory points for hexes, victory locations. The Union held on to 3 themselves, and they ended up getting 5 points, or yeah, two 2-pointers, which are both of these down here, and the other Union headquarters, which I think is right here. If Hayes drew a limited activation on the last turn, he was going to drive and take that. I don't know if he would have been successful, but he was going to go for it, and he got a limited activation. Avery got a limited activation. Coster got a limited activation. Schimmelfennig was the only one on the Union side, and Doles and Gordon were the only other brigades in the cavalry that got an activation where they could actually do something. So the last turn was kind of disheartening for, well, I guess you have to say for the Rebs, for the Army of Northern Virginia, because it didn't allow them to get after any more victory locations. I think they could have took that headquarters, and who knows, if they could have cleared this out, that might have given maybe that cavalry a clear shot to the brickyard. I don't know. But it didn't happen. So the count is 3 points for victory locations for the Confederates, 9 for the number of Union broken units on the track, 3.5 points for the number of depleted Union units on the map, because you get a half point for each one, and then 2 for their victory locations that they took, which gave them 14.5 victory points. All right, the Yanks, the Army of the Potomac. 5 victory points for victory point hexes, 3 for Confederate broken units on the broken track, 5.5 for depleted Confederate units on the map, because there's 11 of them, and then 2 for victory points. So they got 15.5. So you take the Union, you subtract the Union victory points from the Confederate victory points. It's a -1 victory point, and it says if it's 6 or more, the Confederates win. If it's less than that, the Confederates lose. So this is a Union victory on the 11th Corps fight north of Gettysburg, in Gettysburg the first day from Revolution Games. All right, Blind Swords. So there you have it. Fun game to play. This Blind Sword stuff, it actually plays really, really, both the systems he's got. I haven't tried Shattered Union yet, but both Black Swan and Blind Swords, these things play really good. Now, what I am curious to do is I want to look at the Shiloh game, because I got to pick that one up too, and I want to see, because it's the first day, which to me is pretty much the Battle of Shiloh for the Confederate side, because they got smoked on the second day. I want to see if that has one big master thing you can play too, because that should be interesting. All right, let's wrap this thing up. Union victory, -1 victory points for the Rebs, and we're going on to the next game. Good fun. Talk to y'all soon.